Okay, Jazakallah. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. أما بعد, brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to this, another of our sittings. Today we'll be taking a look at the tafsir of Surah Buruj. It was requested of me to speak to you on the tafsir of Surah Buruj. So by Allah's will, we shall be explaining Surah Buruj, Surah 85, which was revealed at Mecca. Okay, or brother Khamir Muslim, you can take notes or tea and spar. Allah Ta'ala said, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Was-samaa'i dhatil buruj wal yawmil maw'ud wa shahidin wa mashhur qutila ashabul ukhdud. Ayahs 1 to 4. Allah Ta'ala said in ayahs 1 to 4, by the heaven holding the big stars, and by the promised day, which is the day of resurrection, and by the witnessing day is Yawmul Jumu'ah, and the mashhud, the day which is witnessed, is Yawm Arafah. Allah Ta'ala is sworn by certain things here before He gives you the answer to the swearing, which is called Jawab al-Qasam. Jawab is answer, Jawab al-Qasam. I swear by the stars in the sky, I swear by the day of resurrection, I swear by Yawmul Jum'ah, and I swear by the day of Arafah. So Allah swore by 4 things in the above mentioned verses. So the day of resurrection, which is a day of judgment, Allah swore by that. Allah Ta'ala also swore by Yawmul Jumu'ah, which is considered the Eid of the week. Yawmul Jumu'ah is the Eid of the week, and because of that, it is makruh to fast on Jumu'ah day. And Mike, can you hear me? Okay. Please do not, AT12, you try to speak to me on mic, and please do not try to speak to me on mic because I'm already speaking on mic. It is makruh to fast on Jumu'ah day because it is the Eid of the week. Judgment day will also be on Yawmul Jumu'ah. Judgment day will be on Yawmul Jumu'ah. As for the day of Arafah, did you find any hadith to say judgment day will be on Yawmul Jumu'ah? Is there a hadith to that effect? It is makruh to fast on that day because it's the Eid of the week. It is the day when Adam was placed into heaven, and it was a day he was thrown out of heaven, and it is a day when there will be the day of resurrection. Allah Ta'ala also, is there a hadith that says Judgment Day will be on a Friday? That's the hadith. Thank you for these two hadiths. Please find the hadith. Judgment Day will be on a Friday. What did the Holy Prophet say about Arafah? The Prophet said, Al-Hajj Arafah. The most important pillar of Hajj is to be on Mount Arafah on the 9th of Dhul Hijjah. The pillar of Hajj is Arafah, because the Prophet said, Al-Hajj Arafah. The most important thing for you to do when you go to Hajj is to be on Mount Arafah on the 9th of Dhul Hijjah. As for the people who did not go to Hajj, as for those who didn't go to Hajj, for you to fast on the day of Arafah, you'll have 1 year of your past sins forgiven and 1 year of your coming sin forgiven. Just to fast on the day of Arafah, you'll have 1 year of your past sins forgiven and 1 year of your coming sins forgiven, just for you to fast on the day of Arafah. So Allah Ta'ala swore by the stars in the sky, Allah swore by the day of resurrection, Allah swore by Yawmul Jumu'ah, and Allah Ta'ala also swore by the day of Arafah, which is the 9th of Dhul Hijjah. The Jawab al-Qasam, the answer to the swearing is Qutila Ashab al-Ukhdud, the companions of the ditch, they are finished, they are destroyed. That is called Jawab al-Qasam, the answer to the swearing. So whenever Allah swears, there's always an answer why Allah swears, which is called the Jawab. For example, when Allah said, وَالضُّحَى وَاللَّيْلِ إِذَا سَجَى, what is the Jawab al-Qasam? مَا وَدَّأَكَ رَبُّكَ وَمَا قَلَى, your Lord doesn't forsake you, neither does He hate you. And when Allah said, وَالتِّينِ وَالزَّيْتُونِ وَطُورِ سِينِينَ وَهَذَا الْبَلَدِ الْأَمِينَ, Allah swore by the fig and the olive, and Allah swore by Makkah. What is the Jawab al-Qasam? What is the Jawab? The Jawab is لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي أَحْسَنِ تَقْوِيمٍ. Verily, we have created man to be the most noble of our creation, the most handsome of our creation. So every Qasam has a Jawab. It is called Jawab al-Qasam. So when Allah said, La uqsimu bihadha al-balad, nay, I swear by this balad, this city, which is Makkah. Wa anta hillun bihadha al-balad, and it is halal for you, O Muhammad, to punish your enemies the day you conquer Makkah. Wa walidun wa ma walad, and Allah swears by the walid, the father, and the walad, the boy. What is the Jawab? The Jawab is, لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي كَبَدٍ. Verily, we created man in kabad, to struggle, to toil. So life will not be hunky-dory. It won't be a bed of roses, because we created man to struggle, to toil. So here in Surah 85, Surah Buruj, Allah Ta'ala swears by 4 things. The stars in the sky, وَالسَّمَاءِ ذَاتِ الْبُرُوجِ. Then Allah swears by Judgment Day, the day of resurrection. Then Allah swears by Yawmul Jumu'ah, the Friday. And then Allah swears by Yawmul Arafah. Is there a hadith that says Judgment Day will be on a Friday? Who's bringing the hadith? Then after swearing by these 4 things, Qutila Ashab al-Ukhdud, the companions of the ditch, they are finished, they are destroyed. So now we have to go into a story. I have to tell you a story. Who are the companions of the ditch? Who are the people who dug the ditch? This story took place in Yemen, and the king who ordered the ditch to be dug was of Jewish heritage. He was a Jewish king. And the people he dumped in the ditch were of Christian heritage. This story took place in Yemen. This story is found in Sahih Muslim. It's a very long story. So it has to be inserted in the notes after I finish the dars. The Holy Prophet ﷺ said, among the people who lived before you, there was a king, a wicked king, and he had a magician who worked magic on his behalf, just like the Pharaoh had magicians working magic for him. The magician said, I have become old and feeble. Find me a boy who is intelligent for me to teach him magic to pass on my skills. The king provided him with a boy, and when the boy was going to learn magic, he passed by a monk in a cave. And the monk would tell him about Allah, and he was impressed. So he used to go to listen to the monk on a daily basis. He complained, he said, because I am listening to you, when I go to the magician, I arrive late and he trash me. I arrive late and they trash me. The monk said to him, when you go to the magician, the sorcerer, tell him your people held you up. And when you go to your people, tell them that the sorcerer held you up. He continued like that for a time, and they stopped flogging him, trashing him. One morning, as he was going about his business, there was a huge animal in the road, and the people were unable to pass by. It was a wild beast. He picked up a rock and said, "Oh Allah, if what the monk is teaching me is the haqq, the truth, and what he is teaching you is more loved by you than what the sorcerer is teaching me, when I hit the beast, let the beast die for the people to go about their business." The boy hit the beast and the beast died. Their daily business. He came to the monk and told the monk what happened with the beast and how he hit the beast with a rock and it died. The monk who was living in a cave said, "You have now become better than me. Allah has chosen you. You are among the chosen one. You are going to become famous in the society, and the king will hear about you. Don't tell the king about me. Your story will become widespread because Allah has chosen you, but don't tell that wicked king about me." The boy, am I speaking too fast? Anyway, you don't need to write what I'm saying. You can insert the hadith later. It is found in Sahih Muslim. You don't need to write what I'm saying. The hadith can be inserted later. You can even insert it now if you want, piece by piece, sentences by sentences. Sahih Muslim, volume 4, and the number is 7148. Sahih Muslim, volume 4, That is the takhrij. Sahih Muslim volume 4, hadith number 7148. Google the hadith and post it here little by little. As I was saying, one morning when the people were going about their business, a huge beast was in the path and the people were unable to pass. The boy picked up a rock and said, "Oh Allah, if what the monk is teaching me is the haqq, when I hit this beast, let it die. If what the monk is teaching me is better than what the sorcerer, the magician is teaching me, let the beast die." He hit the beast and it died. He came to the monk and told the monk what happened. The monk said, "Allah has chosen you. You have now become of the chosen ones. Your story will become widespread. You are going to become very, very famous. The king will hear about you." When the king hears about you, don't tell him about me. I want to be left alone by myself in this cave. I have taken myself away from the society. The scholars use this story to say, if you are a scholar and you are unable to change this status quo, you need to separate yourself. Do not sit with the kings and justify their kufr. Don't go to the palaces of the kings to justify their kufr. If you can't change the corruption that you see, be like the man who lived in the cave, the story about the boy and the king. The boy became so blessed by Allah, he used to heal the blind and cleanse the leper, and healed many more people. People who were born blind, he healed them. And he healed many, many more people. The king had a sitting companion who was blind, and he heard about the boy. He brought many, many gifts to the boy and said, "If you can cure me, all these gifts belong to you." The boy said to him, "I don't cure anyone. Allah cures people, not me. Allah is the healer, the curer. So if you believe in Allah, Allah will cure you." The courtier of the king, the sitting companion of the king, believed in Allah. The boy prayed for him and he was cured of his blindness. He sat in the same seat where he used to sit beside the king. The king said, "You have gotten back your eyesight. You are able to see." His sitting companion said, "Yes, I can see, because my Lord has cured me of my blindness." The king said, "Do you mean me?" He said, "No, you are not my Lord. Allah is my Lord, not you." The king said, "Do you have another Lord beside me? Do you have another God beside me?" His sitting companion said, "Yes, Allah is my Lord and He's also your Lord." He persecuted and tortured the man who was blind until he led him to the person who cured him of his blindness. Where did you get this aqidah from? This creed, where did you get this creed from, to be worshipping another God beside me? Then he captured the boy and said, "I sent you to learn magic, and now you cure people of their blindness. Did your magical skills allow you to cure people of their blindness?" The boy said, "No, I didn't cure anyone. Allah is the healer. He cured people, not me. He is my Lord and your Lord." The king said, "Do you have another Lord beside me?" The boy said, "Yes, Allah is my Lord. He's also your Lord." He got hold of the courtier and told him to turn apostate. He refused to turn apostate. He used a saw and cut him in two equal halves, cut him in his skull. cut him in his skull, in his head, and cut him in 2 equal halves. Then he caught hold of the boy and said, apostate, turn apostate. The boy refused to turn apostate. So he told some of his soldiers, take this boy to the tallest mountain and throw him off. I don't want his creed to spread in my kingdom. Okay, this is the hadith. Keep posting it piece by piece. The admins, they don't need to write what I'm saying because I am quoting this hadith verbatim. You can quote it 3 sentences at a time until you finish quoting the entire hadith. Continue to post it like that, piece by piece, 3 sentences at a time. It's a very long hadith found in Sahih Muslim. The king told his soldiers, take this boy to the tallest mountain and throw him off, because I don't want his creed to spread in my kingdom. His soldiers took the boy to the tallest mountain, and just as they were about to throw him off the mountain, he made a dua and said, "Oh Allah, save me from them in whatever way you see fit." The mountain shook violently. All the soldiers fell off the mountain and died, but the boy was saved. He came back to the palace of the king. The king said to him, "Where are your companions?" He said, "Allah, my Lord, has saved me from them. They are dead, I am still alive. My Lord, Allah has saved me from them." He ordered some new set of soldiers. He said, "Take this boy in a boat. Take him far out in the sea and dump him in the sea. I don't want his creed to spread in my kingdom." His soldiers followed the orders. They took the boy in a boat, and the boat capsized. He made a dua, "Oh Allah, save me from them in whatever way you see fit." The boat capsized, they all drowned, and the boy returned home. He came back to the palace of the king. The king said, "Where are your companions?" He said, "Allah has saved me from them. Allah has saved me from them." The boy said to the king, "You will never be able to kill me until you follow my instructions." The king was desperate to kill him because he wanted the people to continue to worship him, not Allah. So the king said, "And what is that command of yours? What is that command of yours?" The boy said, "You need to gather all the people of the township and an upland for them to see properly. Tie me to a tree, and before you shoot me, you say, Bismillah, Rabb hadha al-ghulam, in the name of Allah, the Lord of this boy, for the people to hear. If you do that, I will die." The king did exactly what the boy commanded, and he said, "Bismillah, in the name of Allah, Rabb hadha al-ghulam, the Lord of this boy, this ghulam." He shot the boy, and the boy died. When the boy died, and the people saw, everybody shouted, "We believe in the Lord of this boy. We believe in the Lord of this boy." Everybody said that. His soldiers said to him, "What you feared has come to pass. Because you did not want the people in your kingdom to believe in the Lord of this boy, but now all of them believe. What are you going to do?" He said, "Don't worry, dig a ditch and fill the ditch with wood and ignite the wood. Those who refuse to apostate, turn apostate, I will dump them in the ditch and burn them alive. And those who apostate, I will save their life." His soldiers did that. They dug the ditch. They dumped the believers inside. Nobody turned apostate. They were all happy to die as Muslims. A woman came with a little boy who was on breast, a few months old, and she was hesitant to jump into the fire. But the baby spoke to her and said, Isbiri ya umma fa innaki ala al-haq. Be patient, my beloved mother, for verily you are upon the haqq. When the mother heard the little baby speaking to her, she jumped into the fire. I'm sure Sahih Muslim has this about the baby speaking to the mother. Now, if you should examine carefully, this baby is one of the babies that spoke from the cradle. Okay, authentic third 5, do you have any hadith about babies who spoke from the cradle? Jesus spoke from the cradle when they accused his mother of fornication. And Jesus spoke to the people from the cradle. This baby who spoke from the cradle, found in Sahih Muslim. And there was a man riding on a horse, very proud and arrogant. And the mother said, I wish when my baby grows up, my baby will be like that man who is riding on the horse. He's a rich man. He's very powerful. And the baby who was sucking the breast, when I grew up, the mother was shocked. The baby who was a few months old, when the mother saw the man riding on the horse, proud and arrogant, boastful, wearing fine clothing, rich man. The mother who was giving suck to the baby said, I want my son to be like that man when he grows up. But the baby who was sucking the breast said, I don't want to be like that man when I grow up. I don't want to be like that man when I grow up. So I'm giving you some examples of babies who spoke from the cradle. The baby, Ukhdud, Ashab al-Ukhdud. That's another baby that spoke from the cradle. The man killed babies as well. He didn't kill the parents and leave the babies. He dumped babies in the ditch as well. And this story took place in Yemen, as I told you previously. If you look carefully, if you look carefully at the ayah, what Allah said, قُتِلَ أَصْحَابُ الْأُخْدُودِ. Allah said what? قُتِلَ أَصْحَابُ الْأُخْدُودِ. The companions of the ditch, they are finished, they are destroyed. Now, people will say, the soldiers of the king, they were following orders. So why Allah is going to punish them? Why not the king alone? There are soldiers who are in the British army, the American army, the French army. They commit a lot of crimes against humanity. And they like to say, we were soldiers following orders. They have a court called the ICC, the International Criminal Court in The Hague. They take soldiers there and try them for war crimes. But this court, why don't they take Tony Blair? He's a war criminal. They only target African leaders to take there. They only take African leaders like Charles Taylor of Sierra Leone or Liberia. I think Liberia. Charles Taylor, Liberia. Or they take people from the Balkans like Milosevic from the Balkans. Bush and Blair are war criminals. Why don't you take them there? They are excellent examples of war criminals. What I'm trying to say is that this ICC court some war criminals are above the court. And a warrant was set out for Ariel Sharon. Ariel Sharon killed 22,000 Muslims in Sabra and Shatila. Sabra and Shatila is a refugee camp in Lebanon. Ariel Sharon killed 22,000 Muslims there. He was another war criminal. Why wasn't he taken to The Hague, this ICC criminal court? Surah Buruj tells you that if you are in the army of the Taghut and you are taking orders, you cannot use the excuse, I'm a soldier. I was a soldier taking orders. So because I was a soldier following orders, no one is allowed to punish me. You cannot use that argument. The soldiers of Hitler, the Nazis, they were taken to a trial called the Nuremberg trial, and the lawyers who were defending them said these were soldiers in the army of Hitler, so they were following orders. You shouldn't try them and send them to jail for the rest of their lives and throw away the key. The lawyers, they did not accept, the judges didn't accept that argument. The judges still convicted them and dumped them in prison and threw away the key. There is an ayah in the Quran where Allah Ta'ala put the blame on the Pharaoh and Haman and the soldiers of the Pharaoh. Allah did not say the army of the Pharaoh is innocent, but the Pharaoh is guilty. Surah 28, verse 8. Surah 28, verse 8. Inna Fir'aun wa Haman wa junudahuma kanu khati'in. Allah said, verily, the Pharaoh, Haman, and their army, they were all sinners. Do you see the ayah? Allah said, verily, Haman, as well as their soldiers, junud, Allah used the word junud. They were all sinners. So when you are fighting in the army of the Taghut, and you committed crimes against humanity, do not say, I was just a soldier taking orders. You don't have to join the army of the Taghut. Why can't you be like the American soldiers? They run away to Canada to seek political asylum. The American soldiers, they run away, many of them, to Canada. To do what? To seek political asylum, because they don't want to fight illegal wars. These illegal wars are fought by the Illuminatis. The Freemasons, the Illuminatis, they start these wars. Why should you lose your two arms, your two legs, or your life fighting for the Freemasons? The Freemasons, they are devil worshippers. Thousands of American soldiers run away to Canada to seek political asylum. Why couldn't you do that? The world is big and spacious. Why didn't you make hijrah? Why didn't you migrate? Why did you join the army of the Taghut to begin with? These Freemasons who start wars, it's not their sons and daughters who are dying. They are having parties and having frolics and cocktails and orgies. They're having fun. They are not on the front line, and their children are not on the front line. These Freemasons who start these wars. So Surah Buruj is very important because Allah Ta'ala said, Qutila Ashabul Ukhdud, the companions of the ditch, they are finished, they are destroyed. What Allah is telling you is that the guilt is on the wicked king and his soldiers who followed the instruction to dig the ditch and to fill it up with wood, and then ignited the wood, and then dumped the believers along with their children in the ditch. Okay, bring me ayah 5. النار ذات الوقود, the fire fed with fuel. What was the fuel? Wood. إذ هم عليها قعود, when they all sat by the fire. Ayah 6. They all sat around the fire, looking at the believers burning in the fire. These people were depraved, heartless, and cruel. And they witnessed what they were doing against the believers while they burned the believers. Ayah 7. They witnessed what they did to the believers. This man had a personality disorder. His personality disorder, well, he was a narcissist. And he had a God complex. And he had megalomania. Megalomania, that is a personality disorder. He was a narcissist. And he had a God complex. He dumped the believers in the ditch and burnt them because they believe in Allah. Then Allah said, وَمَا نَقَمُوا مِنْهُمْ إِلَّا أَن يُؤْمِنُوا بِاللَّهِ الْعَزِيزِ الْحَمِيدِ. They had nothing against the believers except that they believe in Allah and Allah alone. Bring me ayah 8. وَمَا نَقَمُوا مِنْهُمْ إِلَّا أَن يُؤْمِنُوا بِاللَّهِ الْعَزِيزِ الْحَمِيدِ. What crime did they commit? The crime is that they believe in Allah. That's the crime. In the UK and the USA, for you to be a Muslim is a crime. In Burma, for you to be a Muslim in Burma is a crime. Have you heard about the Rohingya Muslims? They are the most oppressed people in the world. The media is a Jewish media. The Jewish media say every Muslim is a terrorist. That's the Jewish media, which is in the UK and the USA. Every Muslim is a terrorist. The Bible of the UK people is the Sun newspaper. That's their Bible. And the Sun newspaper is the most racist newspaper in the world. That is the Bible of the UK people, the Sun. And it's the most racist newspaper in the world. And the Sun tells people every Muslim in the world is a terrorist. So because the media is controlled by the Yahud, the Jews, the Zionists, and they hate Muslims, for you to be a Muslim in the UK, the USA, in Burma, and many other countries, that in itself is a crime. So Allah said, وَمَا نَقَمُوا مِنْهُمْ إِلَّا أَن يُؤْمِنُوا بِاللَّهِ الْعَزِيزِ الْحَمِيدِ. The king who dug the ditch and dumped the believers inside, they had nothing against the people they dumped in the ditch except that they believe in Allah and Allah alone. They did not dump them in the ditch because they stole money or they raped women or they killed people. That's not the reason they dumped them in the ditch. These were decent people. Allah said, وَمَا نَقَمُوا مِنْهُمْ إِلَّا أَن يُؤْمِنُوا بِاللَّهِ الْعَزِيزِ الْحَمِيدِ. They had nothing against them except that they believe in Allah and Allah alone. الَّذِي لَهُ مُلْكُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَاللَّهُ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ شَهِيدٌ. To whom belongs the dominion of the heavens and the earth, and Allah is a witness over all things. Ayah 9. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ فَتَنُوا الْمُؤْمِنِينَ وَالْمُؤْمِنَاتِ ثُمَّ لَمْ يَتُوبُوا فَلَهُمْ عَذَابُ جَهَنَّمَ وَلَهُمْ عَذَابُ الْحَرِيقِ. Verily, those who put into trial, they believe in men and they believe in women, by torturing them and burning them, by persecuting them, and then do not turn in repentance to Allah, then they will have the torment of hell, and they will have the torment of a burning fire. So the infidels, their modus operandi is to ill-treat, to persecute the believers. Have you heard about Guantanamo Bay? A lot of innocent people are in Guantanamo Bay. Their only crime is that they're Muslims. Barack Obama said he's going to close down Guantanamo Bay. He promised that in his election campaign. When I become president, I'm going to close down Guantanamo Bay. But when he became president, he did not close down Guantanamo Bay. He broke his promise. This is why I have never voted in life, and I'll never vote. How can I vote for people who are scumbags? I've never voted in life, and I'll never vote. Politicians all over the world, they make a million promises. Vote for me. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And when you vote for them, they break all their promises. Obama said, I'm going to close down Guantanamo Bay. When he became president, he broke his promise. He didn't close it down. Guantanamo Bay is an example of Muslims being persecuted, innocent Muslims. And Allah said, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ فَتَنُوا الْمُؤْمِنِينَ وَالْمُؤْمِنَاتِ ثُمَّ لَمْ يَتُوبُوا فَلَهُمْ عَذَابُ جَهَنَّمَ وَلَهُمْ عَذَابُ الْحَرِيقِ. Have you heard about Shaykh Omar Abdul Rahman, the blind Shaykh? His solicitor, his attorney, stood on the doorstep of the courthouse and cried and said, this man is totally innocent. He did not do anything to go to jail. Shaykh Omar Abdul Rahman, the blind Shaykh. In places like the USA and the UK, there is no justice, absolutely no justice. They believe in collective punishment. Have you heard about the 16-year-old son of Anwar Awlaki? He was killed with a drone. What crime did he commit to be killed? They said, well, his father, it is unfortunate he had a father like that. This 16-year-old, he wasn't even giving speeches about Islam. He was in the park playing football. How can you kill a 16-year-old boy because his father is Anwar Awlaki? This is how kafirs are. A kafir is a low-life scum of the earth, a human filth, a human garbage. They believe in collective punishment. Have you heard about Afia Siddiqui? Afia Siddiqui did not do anything to go to jail. She's been persecuted and raped multiple times by the American soldiers. Have you heard about Ali Tamimi? Ali Tamimi is doing over 100 years in prison. He did not do anything. The only crime Ali Tamimi committed was that he's an Arab living in America. Ali Tamimi, he did not do anything. I can give you the names of many people. The only crime they committed is that they are Muslims living in the UK or the USA. Have you heard about Babar Ahmed? Have you forgotten Babar Ahmed? He did not do anything. When the British arrested him, it was blood all over the floor. That's how they treated him, Babar Ahmed. I can give you the names of many, many Muslims who are being persecuted by the white man. And they did not do anything. But the white man gave them life imprisonment. The most famous is Ali Tamimi and the blind Shaykh Umar Abdurrahman. Shaykh Musa Jibril, I'm sure he spent at least 10 years in the prison of the white man. He did not do anything. Shaykh Ahmed Musa Jibril, I'm sure he spent at least a decade in the prison of the white man and he did not do anything. So Allah said, Inna alladhina fatanul mu'minina wal mu'minati thumma lam yatubu falahum adhab jahannam wa lahum adhab al-hariq. Verily, those who put to trial, they believe in men and they believe in women, by torturing them, persecuting them, and do not turn in repentance, then they will have the torment of the hellfire, and they will have the punishment of a burning fire. Allah said they believe in men and they believe in women who are persecuted by the kuffar. Because the kuffar, they persecute men as well as women, not just the men. They persecute women. Sisters are in prison, not just men. That's why Afia Siddiq is in prison. That's why Allah said, those who persecute believe in men and believe in women. So the kuffar, they are a fitna for you because you live among them and they treat you badly. They can't treat you properly. It's impossible because they hate you naturally. And their society is called Dar al-Harb. There are 3 societies in the world. The first one is called Dar al-Kufr, the land of the kuffar, but they don't persecute Muslims. Venezuela is Dar al-Kufr. It's a Kafir country, yes, but they don't persecute Muslims. Brazil is Dar al-Kufr. Jamaica is Dar al-Kufr. They don't lock up Muslims. For them to lock you up in Jamaica, you have to do something wrong, like to murder or rape. They don't lock you up like in the UK, the white man lock you up even when you did not do anything. Because those countries are called Dar al-Harb. Dar al-Harb, the second country, Dar al-Harb, is a land in which the Muslims are persecuted. Either they are killed or they are locked up innocently. That's called Dar al-Harb. The UK is Dar al-Harb. The USA is Dar al-Harb. Russia is Dar al-Harb. China is Dar al-Harb. India is Dar al-Harb. Israel is Dar al-Harb. They lock up innocent Muslims and persecute the Muslims. You forgot the USA. Okay. Yes, the UK is Dar al-Harb, USA, Russia, China, India, Israel. Burma is Dar al-Harb. Because they kill Muslims. They don't lock up Muslims, they kill Muslims because they can't afford to feed Muslims. So they kill them, they don't lock them up. That's Burma. It's a very, very poor country. They can't afford to feed Muslims, so they lock Muslims, they kill Muslims. Is horrifying and They all turned out to be the greatest enemies of Islam. What a wonderful man he was, Hitler. All the people he killed, they turned out to be low-life scums of the earth, human garbage. They turned out to be the greatest enemies of Islam. So these people who have turned their countries into Dar al-Harb, persecuting Muslims, they have nothing against the Muslims except for what? La ilaha illallah. That's the only thing they have against the Muslims. La ilaha illallah. Nothing deserves to be worshipped except Allah. That's their only grudge they carry against the Muslims. La ilaha illallah. And because of that, Allah said, وَمَا نَقَمُوا مِنْهُمْ إِلَّا أَن يُؤْمِنُوا بِاللَّهِ الْعَزِيزِ الْحَمِيدِ. They had nothing against the believers except for La ilaha illallah. Surah 85. Verse 8. Surah 85, verse 8. وَمَا نَقَمُوا مِنْهُمْ إِلَّا أَن يُؤْمِنُوا بِاللَّهِ الْعَزِيزِ الْحَمِيدِ. The amount of chemical weapons the Americans drop on Fallujah is equal to 10 Hiroshima. All the people Hitler killed turned out to be scumbags and human garbage. What a wonderful man he was. They said Hitler killed Jews. Look what the Jews are doing to Muslims in occupied Palestine now. They said Hitler killed Jews. But look what the Jews are doing to Muslims in occupied Palestine. Why should I be touched by the Holocaust? I'm not touched by the Holocaust. I'm not a Jew. How can I be touched by the Holocaust when the Jews are treating the Muslims worse than how Hitler treated them? It's so unfortunate that the man who claims to be oppressed, he has now turned around to be the worst oppressor in the world. I toured South Africa twice. In 2008, the Muslims told me our apartheid in South Africa was a walk in the park. The real apartheid, the most brutal apartheid in history, is the apartheid in occupied Palestine. So why is it that the Muslims in occupied Palestine are badly treated and the Muslims in Burma are badly treated? The answer is in Surah 5, verse 82. The people who are living in Israel are Jews, and Jews hate you the most. The people who are living in Burma are Buddhists, pagans, and they hate you the most. Allah Ta'ala told you in Surah 5, verse 82, لَتَجْدَنَّ أَشَدَّ النَّاسِ عَدَاوَةً لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا الْيَهُودُ وَالَّذِينَ أَشْرَكُوا. Those who hate Muslims the most will be Jews who are living in occupied Palestine, the Israelis, the Jews, and those who are pagans, those who are living in India, the Hindus of India, and the Buddhists of Burma. They are pagans. They are going to hate you the most. The ayah is clear. It doesn't get clearer than that. Surah 5, verse 82. Then Allah Ta'ala said in Surah 85 verse 11, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ لَهُمْ جَنَّاتٌ تَجْرِي مِنْ تَحْتِ الْأَنْهَارِ ذَلِكَ الْفَوْزُ الْكَبِيرُ. Verily, those who believe and do righteous good deeds, for them will be gardens underneath which rivers flow. That is the great success. Ayah 11. Whenever you read the Quran, Allah always mentions believe and work righteous deeds, because you can't separate the belief, the creed from the actions. The creed, the belief, the iman, it causes you to work righteous good deeds. So in the Quran, Allah always follow up belief with righteous actions, because your creed motivates you to become righteous. If you are an atheist, there is no incentive for you to look after your parents when they become old. But if you're a Muslim, you will look after your parents when they become old. But if you're an atheist, you'll dump them in the old age homes. Some European companies, they go and build old people homes in Cambodia, in Thailand, in the Philippines, because the bills to look after old people in these places are cheap. But to run an old people home in USA or the UK is very, very expensive. Or in Germany, in Holland. So they go and build these old people homes in far away countries where the bills are cheap. To look after them is cheap in these places. Looking after old people is a big, big business, because the atheists, they don't like to look after their parents. They prefer to dump them in the old age homes because they are a burden. Allah always talk about good deeds and iman. Iman, good deeds. Amanu wa amilu salihat. Because your creed encourages you to be a good person. And if your creed is faulty, if your creed is dodgy, it makes you become a very, very evil person. Have you heard about Pol Pot? Pol Pot of Cambodia. He killed 8 million people. He was a Chinese communist. Have you heard about another Chinese communist, Chairman Mao? He killed at least 40 million of his own people. Chairman Mao, Mao Tse-tung of China. Have you heard about Joseph Stalin? He killed at least 50 million of his own people. Joseph Stalin. These people were atheists and communists. That's why they were so evil. Your creed cause you to be a good person or an evil person. 50 million, 50. So, whatever creed you follow, it motivates you to become a good person or a bad person. Because the creed is important, Allah says, Amanu wa amilu salihat, believe and work righteous good deeds. Your actions and your belief are interwoven. Your actions are a part of your iman. You cannot separate actions from iman. Your actions are a part of your iman. And because of that, Allah said on numerous occasions, except those who believe and work righteous good deeds. Verily, those who believe and work righteous good deeds, their abode will be paradise to abide forever. That is a great success. You can't separate the creed from the action. They are interwoven. Your creed motivates you to work righteous good deeds. If I don't believe in resurrection, I don't believe there is life after death. When I die, and I become bones, that's it. There is no resurrection. Why should I become a good person? Why should I? If I don't believe in the day of recompense, why should I become a good person? Why should I feed the poor? Why should I be faithful to my wife? You tell me. If there is no judgment day, and there is no life after death, and there is no punishment, why should I remain faithful to my wife? Why should I? There is no incentive for me to be a righteous person, because when I die, that's it. There is no life after death. There is no resurrection. If I believe it's all a myth, Judgment Day is just a myth. If that is my creed, why should I be kind to poor people? Why should I look after my parents when they become old? Why should I remain faithful to my wife? I have a factory. I have 50 beautiful women working for me. I am the boss. I can seduce anyone I like. Why should I remain faithful to my wife? When I die, that's it. There is no life after death. There is no resurrection. If that is my creed, why should I become a righteous person? The reason why Allah said on many, many occasions in the Quran, Amanu wa amilu salihat, believe and work righteous good deeds, is because your belief and your action are interwoven. They can't be separated. Your creed makes you a good person or an evil person. It either makes you or breaks you. You can't separate the belief from action. Your belief either makes you or breaks you. Inna batsha rabbika lashadid. Verily, the seizure of Allah is severe and painful. Ayah 12. Innahu huwa yubdi wa yu'id. Verily, He, Allah Ta'ala, He is the originator. He creates things, and then He repeats it on the day of resurrection. Inna batsha rabbika lashadid. Verily, Allah's chastisement is severe. Innahu yubdi wa yu'id. Innahu huwa yubdi wa yu'id. Allah Ta'ala, He creates you and then He recreates you. He keeps creating, and He will bring you back together on the day of resurrection, even though you might be eaten up by the shark in the sea, or you were eaten up by the lion in the jungle. Allah will bring you back. It is easy for Him to create and then recreate. وَهُوَ الْغَفُورُ الْوَدُودُ. And He is the most forgiving, full of love towards the pious who are real true believers of Islam. Now, in one ayah, Allah Ta'ala said, Inna batsha rabbika lashadid. Ayah 12. In ayah 12, Allah Ta'ala said, His punishment is harsh, it is severe, it's painful. But in ayah 14, Allah said, وَهُوَ الْغَفُورُ الْوَدُودُ. He is the most forgiving and He is full of love. So why did He say the opposite of something in ayah 12? Don't you know why? In ayah 12, He said He's severe in punishment. But in ayah 14, He said He is the most loving, the most forgiving. Don't you know why? The purpose of you can hear me? Do you understand the question I am asking you? In ayah 12, Allah said, Inna batsha rabbika lashadid. Verily, Allah's punishment is severe. His grip is severe. His punishment is severe. But in ayah 14, Allah said the opposite. وَهُوَ الْغَفُورُ الْوَدُودُ. He is the most forgiving. He is full of love. The answer to the question is, had Allah mentioned His punishment at all times in the Quran, only punishment, you would be a khawarij. When you do anything haram, you don't give yourself any hope, and you give up from Allah's mercy. Only the khawarij give up from Allah's mercy, and they don't believe in Allah's hope, and they don't believe in Allah's rahmah. Had Allah mentioned in the Quran that He was loving and forgiving, then you'll be a murji, a happy-go-lucky Muslim. You'll drink alcohol, you'll go to nightclubs, you'll have 10 girlfriends, you'll smoke weed. And when we tell you to fear Allah, you will say to us, Allah is Ghafur Rahim. Allah is Ghafur Rahim. You will be a happy-go-lucky Muslim. In order for you not to be a khawarij, and in order for you not to be a murji, a liberal, a happy-go-lucky Muslim, a murji, Allah mentioned His punishment, Inna batsha rabbika lashadid, and then Allah mentioned, وَهُوَ الْغَفُورُ الْوَدُودُ. This is the hikmah of Allah, to balance you, because you are the balanced nation. What are you? The balanced nation. You are not a khawarij and you are not a murji. Baqarah 143. Bring me Sahih International for this translation. Baqarah 143. You are the balanced nation. One day, the Prophet ﷺ asked his companions about a woman who had a baby. Would she allow anyone to harm her baby? And the baby was young, on breast. They said, O Messenger of Allah, this woman would never allow anyone to harm her baby. She is merciful to the baby. The Prophet said, Allah's love for you, Allah's mercy for you is more than this mother with her baby. Find that hadith. Thus we have made you a just nation, that you will be witness over mankind, and the messenger will be a witness over you. I only want where it says witness over you, full stop. I don't want all the ayah. It's a very long ayah. I only want where Allah Ta'ala said, witness over you, full stop. Okay, this is a hadith about the woman with her baby. The Prophet said, Allah's mercy for you, Allah's love for you, Allah's kindness towards you is more than this woman with her rahmati taghlib ghadabi. Verily, my mercy prevails over my wrath. This is a hadith Qudsi. When I was on tour of Nigeria, I quoted a hadith and the people were shocked in the masjid. I'm going to quote the hadith to see if you will be shocked as well. The Prophet said, if you did not commit sins, Allah would wipe you out of creation and then bring about a new creation that would sin. And when they seek Allah's forgiveness, then Allah would forgive them. This hadith can be found in Muslim. If you did not commit sins, Allah would wipe you out of creation, then bring about a new creation that would sin. And when they seek Allah's forgiveness, Allah would pardon them, Allah would forgive them. That's the hadith that shocked the people in 2008 when I was on tour of Nigeria. You are not allowed to give up from Allah's mercy as a Muslim. Don't be a khawarij and give up from Allah's rahmah, Allah's mercy. Because Allah told you in the Quran, Surah 39, verse 53. قل يا عبادي الذين أسرفوا على أنفسهم لا تقنطوا من رحمة الله إن الله يغفر الذنوب جميعا. Say, O my servants who have wronged themselves by committing all types of sins, do not give up from the mercy of Allah. Verily, Allah forgives all sins. This ayah is clear. Allah forgives all sins, even shirk Allah forgives. What type of shirk? Major shirk. Allah forgives all sins, even shirk, if you make tawbah before you die. Do you understand the tafsir? The above ayah, Surah Zumar, verse 53, Allah said He forgives all sins. Even shirk, Allah forgives. As long as you make your tawbah before you die. But if you refuse to make tawbah before you die and die in a state of shirk like Abu Talib, there is no hope for you. If you die in a state of shirk like Abu Talib, there is absolutely no hope for you. Surah Nisa, verse 48. Inna Allah la yaghfir an yushraka bihi wa yaghfir ma duna dhalika liman yasha. Nisa 48. Verily, Allah doesn't forgive shirk, but Allah will forgive anything else to whom He please. So the second ayah, Nisa 48, is talking about people who die in a state of shirk. If you don't have someone to explain the Quran for you, you are going to think the Quran contradicts itself. If you don't have a scholar to explain the Quran for you, you are going to think the Quran contradicts itself. Allah did not contradict Himself. That's why you need tafsir to understand the Quran. The first ayah says Allah forgives all sins. Even shirk Allah forgives, providing you make your tawbah, your repentance before you die. The second ayah, Surah Nisa, verse 48, Allah said He doesn't forgive shirk. It's talking about those people who die in a state of shirk like Abu Talib. If you don't have the tafsir of the Quran, if you don't have somebody explain the Quran for you, you will think the Quran contradicts itself. I have seen kuffar, low-life scums of the earth, human garbage, children of harlots, children of the devil. They set up websites claiming the Quran contradicts itself, and these are the contradictions. Children of harlots, human devils, human garbage. They set up websites claiming we have seen contradictions in the Quran. You are not allowed to visit these websites because these people, some of them, they call themselves ex-Muslims.com, and they were never Muslims. They are born Christians and born Jews. They were never Muslims. When I was on tour of South Africa, some white people brought a video and said, this video is about ex-Muslims. So we said, okay, show us the video. They showed us the video of a man who claimed to be a Muslim, then he apostated. When the man was making wudu, while he was a Muslim, he washed the left hand before the right hand. He said, that's it, you're liars. These people are paid actors and actresses. That's it, we have checkmated you. Anytime a person is working for the MI5, the CIA, the FBI, and he was planted in the masjid as a spy, look at how he makes wudu. He washes the left hand before the right hand. According to the hand for the right hand, your wudu is batil. Which madhab is this? The madhab of Ahmad ibn Hanbal. Your wudu is batil. Look at the spies when they come to the masjid. They pray without wudu. And even if they make wudu, they wash their left hand before washing their right hand. Because the MI5, the FBI, the CIA did not train them properly, did not teach them how to make wudu. And when they stand up to pray salah, they put the left hand over the right hand. If a person is in the masjid praying and he puts the left hand over the right hand, you are supposed to make takfir on him and expose him as a hypocrite and a spy. No Muslim prays like that, putting the left hand over the right hand. A'udhu billah. That is a shaitan and a spy, because the CIA did not teach them how to pray properly. Allah Ta'ala is the owner of the mighty throne, the glorious throne, the Al-Arsh Al-Majid. He is the doer of whatever He intends to do. Ayah 15, Ayah 16. Allah is the owner of the mighty throne, and He is the doer of whatever He wants to do. فعال لما يريد. هل أتاك حديث الجنود? Has there the story of the soldiers come to you? Fir'aun wa Thamud, the Pharaoh and the people of Thamud. Allah keeps talking about soldiers. They translate it as the host. I don't know why they say host. Why can't they say soldiers? Allah said junud. Because many of you think it is okay to join the USA Army, the British Army, the French Army, and you justify it by saying, it's just a job. I'm feeding my family. When you join these armies, you have apostated because of Surah Nisa, verse 76. الذين آمنوا يقاتلون في سبيل الله والذين كفروا يقاتلون في سبيل الطاغوت فقاتلوا أولياء الشيطان إن كيد الشيطان كان ضعيفا. Those who believe, they fight for Allah, but those who reject faith, they fight for the Taghut. So fight the henchmen of the shaitan. Verily the plot of the Satan is ever weak. This is the ayah used by the scholars to make takfir on anybody who joined the British Army, the American Army, the French Army, the Dutch Army, and so on and so forth. The other ayah used by the scholars to make takfir on those who joined these satanic armies is Surah 28, verse 8. In Surah 28, verse 8, Allah Ta'ala, He grouped the Pharaoh, Haman, and their soldiers in the same group. So Allah Ta'ala said in Surah 28, verse 8, Inna Fir'aun wa Haman wa junudahuma kanu khati'in. Verily, the Pharaoh, Haman, and their soldiers, they were all in the wrong. Verily, the Pharaoh, Haman, and their soldiers, they were all in the wrong. They were all sinners. So when you give your bay'ah to join an army and fight for their flag, and it's a kafir army, you commit suicide to be in hellfire. The only army you can join is the Mujahideen. And if you go to the battlefield, for example, in Syria, and you join the free, if you join the free Syrian army, you become a kafir, because the free Syrian army are fighting for democracy. You go to Syria to fight, and you join the free Syrian army, and you give them your bay'ah to fight for them. You're a kafir, because they're fighting for democracy, not Islam. if you join the Free Syrian Army. Yes. The FSA. You cannot join that. Because when the man asked the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, okay, authentic 25, find the hadith. Some people fight for the booty, some fight for the fame. Who is fighting fi sabilillah? The Prophet said, Man qatala litakun kalimatullah la ilaha illallah hiya al-ulya fahuwa al-mujahid fi sabilillah. The man who fights to make la ilaha illallah the highest, he is the mujahid fighting fi sabilillah. Have you seen the hadith? He who fights that Allah's word, al-Islam, should be superior, fights for the sake of Allah. The Free Syrian Army, they're not fighting for Islam. They did not mince their words. They tell it to your face, we are fighting for democracy. So if you go to Syria to fight, and you join the Free Syrian Army, you're a kafir. Because you are fighting for Allah, you are fighting for democracy. Democracy is the greatest shirk. And if you die fighting for the Free Syrian Army, you commit suicide to be in the hellfire forever. And no one is allowed to pray janazah over you and bury you in the graveyard of the Muslims. Nobody. If you die fighting for democracy, you can't be buried in our graveyard. You have to be buried in the graveyard of the Christians. Because you will be on Judgment Day with the people you die with. If you were fighting for Sharia, Khilafah, and you died, then we will bury you in our graveyard. But not when you die fighting for democracy. We can't bury you in our graveyard. Because democracy is the greatest shirk. Democracy is a religion of the Freemasons. Democracy is a religion of the Freemasons. So many of you, you think you're a Muslim, but you are yet to be a Muslim. You are a Freemason because you believe in democracy. And many of you, you are yet to taste the sweetness of Iman. You are yet to be a Muslim. You shouldn't hesitate to make takfir on those who believe in democracy because it is the greatest shirk and it is a religion of the Satan. Why Allah mentioned Fir'aun wa Thamud? What do they have in common? Ayah 18. Fir'aun wa Thamud. What do they have in common? Ayah 18. Bring me 18 and 19. بَلَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا فِي تَكْذِيبٍ. The disbelievers persisted in denying the Prophet and his messenger. Ayah 19. The big question, the million-dollar question, what do they have in common? Fir'aun wa Thamud. The people of Thamud, they were the people of Saleh. They said, if you are really a prophet, why don't you make a camel come out of the rock? They were Arabs, that's why they asked for a camel. The camel is quintessential to the Arabian society. He told them, he asked them, say wallahi, you'll believe if I pray and the camel come out of the rock? They said, wallahi, we'll believe. When Prophet Saleh prayed and the camel came out of the rock, they went back on their wallahi and they rejected faith and they complained about the camel of Allah. They said, it's too big and it frightened our camel. Prophet Saleh said, we'll come to a compromise. One day my camel will drink from the well and the next day your camel will drink. Then they complain again. Your camel is drinking too much water from the well. So these people, you can't please them. They always find an excuse. Whenever a person doesn't want you and them to get along, fine in a relationship, they always come up with an excuse. They are impossible to please. So they plotted to kill the she-camel of Allah, Naqatullah. Prophet Salih told them, don't kill the she-camel of Allah. Don't bar it from drinking. But they rejected faith in him and they killed the she-camel. They broke their promise. They promised they'll believe. When the she-camel came, they broke their promise and they killed the she-camel. So Allah said, فَدَمْدَمَ عَلَيْهِمْ رَبُّهُمْ بِذَنْبِهِمْ. فَدَمْدَمَ عَلَيْهِمْ رَبُّهُمْ بِذَنْبِهِمْ فَكَذَّبُوا فَعَقَرُوهَا فَدَمْدَمَ عَلَيْهِمْ رَبُّهُمْ بِذَنْبِهِمْ. Surah Shams, verses 11 to 15. Bring me those 5 ayahs. كذبت ثمود بطغواها إذ انبعث أشقاها فقال رسول الله ناقة الله وسقياها فكذبوا فعقروها فدمدم عليهم ربهم بذنبهم فسواها ولا يخاف عقباها. Allah Ta'ala said, when I punished the people of Salih for killing the she-camel of Allah, I made them equal in the punishment. Everybody was destroyed. Why? Not just those who killed the camel, everybody was destroyed. Because those who didn't kill the she-camel, they didn't enjoin the right and forbid the wrong. They didn't stop them from killing the she-camel. So because they didn't enjoin the right and forbid the wrong, I made them equal in the punishment. And I don't fear the consequences thereof. Allah didn't fear the consequences thereof because I wasn't unjust to them. I didn't fear the consequences of my action because I wasn't unjust to them. Okay, I brought you the ayahs about Prophet Saleh. What about the Pharaoh? How are they equal? How are they similar to the people of Saleh? The ayah I wanted to bring, Surah 7, 134 to 135. When you bring these ayahs, it will explain to you how the Pharaoh was similar to the people of Thamud. When they saw the chastisement of Allah, and they saw the river Nile turn into blood, Allah sent against them frogs. Allah sent against them the locusts, lice. The river Nile turned into blood. And then Allah sent the flood. They turned to Musa. And they said to Musa, pray to Allah, pray to your Lord for us, because of his promise to you. The promise is, I will answer the dua of Musa. That's the promise. The Pharaoh used to tell people that he is the Lord, Ana Rabbukum al-Ala. But when he saw the river Nile turn into blood, he turned to Musa and said, pray to your Lord for us on our behalf. I thought you told the people of Egypt you were the Lord. You, the Pharaoh, didn't you tell the people of Egypt you are the one and only Lord, Ana Rabbukum al-Ala? But when the river Nile turned into blood, because you need water, you can't survive without water. You turned to Musa and said, pray to your Lord, invoke your Lord for us because of his promise to you. If you will remove the punishment from us, we indeed shall believe in you, and we shall let the children of Israel go with you. That was the promise. Do you see the promise? Do you see the promise in Surah Araf 134? Okay, listen to what Allah said. But when we removed the punishment from them to a fixed term, which they had to reach, behold, they broke their promise. They broke their word. This is how the Pharaoh is similar to the people of Thamud. They broke their word. When the she-camel came out of the rock, they refused to believe. They broke their word. When Allah removed the punishment from them, the Pharaoh, they broke their word. They said, if you remove the punishment, we're going to believe. Allah said, when I remove the punishment, they broke their word. This is how the people of Thamud and the Pharaoh, they are two sides of the same coin. The hearts of the Kafirs are alike. Tashabahat qulubuhum. What Allah said, their hearts are alike. Baqarah 118. This is a very long ayah. Bring me the peace I want. Listen to my Arabic. Tashabahat qulubuhum. Their hearts are alike. That's all I want. The hearts of the Kafirs are alike. So because of that, history repeats itself. Nay, there is believers in denying the prophets and in denying Islam. They persist in their disbelief. Ayah 19. And Allah encompasses them from behind. All their deeds are within His knowledge, and He will requite them for their deeds. Nay, the disbelievers persisted in denying the Prophet. Ayah 19. So the same way the Pharaoh persisted in denying the Prophet, the people of Thamud persisted in denying Saleh. The Pharaoh persisted in denying Musa. Abu Lahab and Abu Jahl persisted in denying the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Allah encompasses them from behind. All their deeds are within His knowledge, and He will requite them for their deeds. Ayah 20. So nothing escapes Allah Ta'ala. Not a leaf drops from the tree anywhere in the world except that Allah Ta'ala has full knowledge of it. And Allah Ta'ala will treat you according to your deeds. So listen to this hadith. Ya ibadi innama hiya a'malukum uhsiha lakum thumma awafikum iyyaha. Faman wajada khairan falyahmidillah. O my servants, it is your deeds that I look at and I recompense you for. Let him who finds good say Alhamdulillah. And let him who finds evil blame no one except himself. Find that hadith. This is a hadith in the 40th hadith of Imam Nawawi. Ya ibadi inni haramtu dhulma ala nafsi wa ja'altuhu bainakum muharrama fala tadhalamu. O my servants, I have made oppression haram on myself, and I have made it haram amongst you. Therefore, don't oppress one another. This is the beginning of the hadith. But the last paragraph of the hadith says, Ya ibadi innama hiya a'malakum uhsiha lakum thumma awafikum iyyaha. فَمَنْ وَجَدَ خَيْرًا فَلْيَحْمِدْهُ وَمَنْ وَجَدَ غَيْرَ ذَلِكَ فَلَا يُلُومَنَّ إِلَّا نَفْسَهُ. O my servants, it is your deeds that I look at and I recompense you for. Therefore, let him who finds good say Alhamdulillah. And let him who finds evil blame no one but himself. Jazakallah khairan. Yes, this is the hadith. This hadith coincides with the ayah, and Allah encompasses them from behind. All their deeds are within His knowledge, and He will requite them for their deeds. If you do good, you'll be in paradise. If you do evil, you'll be in the hellfire. Allah will recompense you for your deeds. Laha ma kasabat wa alayha ma iktasabat. That is the last ayah of Surah Baqarah. لَهَا مَا كَسَبَتْ وَعَلَيْهَا مَا اكْتَسَبَتْ. Allah will give you the goodness of your good deeds, and Allah will punish you for the evil of your bad deeds. لَهَا مَا كَسَبَتْ وَعَلَيْهَا مَا اكْتَسَبَتْ. That's Baqarah 286, the very last ayah of Surah Baqarah. Nay, this Quran is a glorious Quran, inscribed in Lawh al-Mahfuz, the preserved tablet. Nay, this Quran is a glorious Quran. Ayah 21, inscribed in Lawh al-Mahfuz in a preserved tablet. The reason why Allah Ta'ala described the Quran as a glorious Quran is because it is free from contradiction. And the reason why Allah described the Quran as a glorious Quran is because it is comprehensive and all topics are dealt with in the Quran. Okay, tell them why the Quran is a glorious Quran. It's a glorious Quran because Allah is the author of the Quran. It's a wise book. Why the Quran is a glorious Quran? Because Allah is the author of the Quran. And Allah is Al-Majid. That's why we call people Abdul Majid. Allah is Al-Majid. Allah is glorious. So whatever book He writes is a glorious book. One of Allah's name is Al-Majid. So His book is Al-Majid as well. A glorious book. One of Allah's 99 names and attributes is what? Al-Hakim, the all-wise. So His book that He authored is a wise book. That's why Allah Ta'ala said, this Quran is Kitab Hakim. Quran al-Hakim. So in Surah Yasin, Surah 36, Allah said what? Yasin wal Quran al-Hakim. Wal Quran al-Hakim. Yasin, by the Quran, which is a wise book full of wisdom. Surah 36, 1-2. So the Quran is a glorious book because it is free from human interference. Okay, give the reasons why the Quran is Majid. It is free from human interference. The Quran is free from human interference and the Quran has no contradictions. The Quran is Majid because it did not put on you a burden more than you can bear. That's another reason. The Quran did not put on you a burden more than you can bear. لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. The Quran is Majid because it's the only religious book which is preserved. Every other book is corrupted. Every other religious book has become a corrupted text except the Quran. Surah 15, verse 9. The Quran is Majid because it's the only book which is not corrupted. The Shiites claim the Quran is corrupted. That makes them become kuffar. The Shiites. They believe Allah broke His promise to protect the Quran. If a person says the Quran is corrupted, if you doubt he's a kafir, you become a kafir yourself. Why? Because when you refuse to make takfir, you become a kafir yourself. If you don't make takfir, you become a kafir yourself. So when the person says the Quran is corrupted, it's no longer protected. If you doubt, just to doubt he's a kafir, you become a kafir yourself. Because refusal to call a kafir kafir makes you a kafir. Even Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab, when he wrote the book Nawaqid al-Islam, he put as point number 9 or point number 10, to refuse to call a kafir kafir makes you become a kafir yourself. Muhammad Abdul Wahhab wrote that in his book Nawaqid al-Islam, what nullifies your Islam. Take, for example, Salman Rushdie, who wrote the book The Satanic Verses, insulting the Prophet. If you doubt he's a kafir, you become a kafir yourself. You have now become an extreme murji. A murji is a person who refuses to make takfir, a liberal. You have now become what? An extreme murji. The Quran is Majid. I haven't given you all the reasons why. The Quran is Majid because it is comprehensive. All the subjects of life are inside the Quran. So Allah Ta'ala said, Ma farratna fil kitab min shay. Surah 6 verse 38. Surah 6 verse 38. What Allah said, Ma farratna fil kitab min shay. We did not leave anything out of this book. Nothing is left out. It is comprehensive. That's why it is Majid. Another reason why the Quran is Majid, I haven't given you all the reasons. The Quran will intercede for you on the day of resurrection. The Quran will beg Allah to give you paradise. The Quran will intercede on the day of resurrection. Find the hadith where the Quran will beg Allah to give you paradise. Ramadan will intercede for you. Ramadan say, oh Allah, I made him suffer hunger and thirst. I made her suffer hunger and thirst. Give her the paradise. Give him the paradise. So the Quran is Majid because it shall intercede for you on the day of resurrection. When you read a hadith like this, don't ask yourself, how is it possible for the Quran to intercede? Don't try to put a limit on the powers of Allah. That question is kufr. You are trying to limit Allah's powers. Don't say that. How can the Quran intercede? Or how can our hands and feet testify against us? Don't ask these questions. That question is kufr. How can our hands and feet testify against us? You are trying to limit Allah's powers. These questions are kufr. Do not try to put a limit on the powers of Allah. Fi Lawh al-Mahfuz, on the guarded tablet. The guarded tablet is a tablet in paradise that all the books were kept in that tablet. And then they were revealed to the prophets. The guarded tablets. That's where the Quran was kept with all the other books. But the Quran is the only one that remains intact. All the other books have been tampered with. This is a tafsir of Surah Buruj. We have now come to the end of the tafsir of Surah Buruj. I'm not taking any questions. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. I'd like to thank Authentic 5 for bringing the Hadith Hujjah. I would like to thank our brother Inspire for bringing the Quranic Hujjah. I'd like to thank our brother Khamir Muslim for the notes. Allah 12 for asking donations towards our dawah effort. I'll see you tomorrow for another tafsir. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. This is tafsir of Surah Buruj. I will now relinquish the mic.